All right, welcome back, first grade. I'm going to talk about actually stitching your handprints on your dish towel. I've started mine, as you can see. And when you think about this stitch, if you can remember what that stitch is called. Hopefully you remembered that it's a running stitch. And my running stitch is rather small. If we put something there to kind of compare it with, if I take the end of a pencil and put it there, or as wide as a pencil, you can see that my stitches are smaller than a pencil is wide. So we're doing small stitches here, not great big ones. And when you're doing running stitches kind of straight, you can actually use a weaving motion to make those stitches because you're just making straight things. So you can go weave it in, and you see my needle is tipping, and I'm also pushing up from underneath with my middle finger, right? And then I could pull that through. Not there because I'm not stitching there. But I wanted to show you I have kind of a straight piece here. So when I was stitching along here, I went pretty straight and I went pretty straight. But when you have to go around the fingertips and things, you can't do that. It's not going to work. And I'm going to show you that now. And I want you to show you that you're also going to keep turning your hoop wherever you need to go. So your needle is mostly driving. If you're right-handed, your needle is mostly driving from right to left. If I was left-handed, I would hold it the other way and I would drive my needle. But you don't want to be sewing, remember, in all kinds of crazy directions. Turn your work whichever direction it needs to go to help you stitch. So I have this part here between the thumb and the first finger, and I can go one stitch, then I can do another one, and these are actually quite small when I turn the corners like that. Turning my work so I keep stitching, and remember our fingers have different jobs. When I stitch, my two fingers make a bird's head like that, and then my middle finger pushes the needle. I'm going to, and then my middle finger is always right by the eye of the needle. Almost always. I'll have to double check. And you could take very small stitches if you wanted. Just going over a few threads each time. Right? Pushing my needle through, pulling it. And pull your thread slowly. You don't want it to get twisted up and make knots. And yes, I'm in the lunchroom at school all by myself, and you can hear the fish tank going in the background. All right, nice and smooth. I'll talk about that later. That's something I actually learned on a video. Now I'm to the edge here, and I have to move my hoop, so I'm going to park my needle, and I'll actually probably put my thread kind of in the middle like that. Loosen up the hoop, and I'm going to lay it flat. Put the piece without the screw underneath, and this time I'm going to get all of those fingers right in the middle there. Put your thread like that. Remember, I'm left-handed, so my screw is going to go over there, although I do end up turning it around a lot all the time. And then tighten it up. You'll learn eventually which way is tightening and which way is making it knot. Don't worry that your stitching is in there. That's just fine. You want to pull on your fabric just a little bit just so it's not super loose in the middle. You don't want to stretch it too much. You want this pretty tight, and if you need help getting it tight, ask somebody older than you. I'm going to keep turning this, and you see what I'm doing. I'm also catching all this extra fabric in my hand here. You don't have to, but I like to. Just gives me a little more to hang on to. And again, I'm coming up to a very rounded part here, so I'm going to take small stitches, a few at a time. That's probably the most I should take there. Turning the hoop, turn your work. Now at some point I'm going to have the whole dish towel in my hand here, and I could let go of some of it and not have to hang on to all of it. Another really good reason to do the running stitch with weaving your needle like this is that if you were to do what's called stick stab, which some of you have done, if you were down here like this, and if you didn't pay attention, oh, I think what did I do? Oh, I'm just gonna poke it through there and see. Oh, look, I caught the dish towel underneath there. And you don't want to do that. So with sticking and stabbing, which is what it's called, stick stab, you run the risk of catching your work underneath. And weaving the needle in and out will go faster, and you won't make those mistakes underneath. Again, I'm pushing this up here. Maybe I should do it that way. That wasn't much of a weave, was it? No, I'll turn this sideways so you can see how I'm pushing up, tipping the needle down, pushing it up, tipping the needle down. And that's as far as I should go. Turn your work. I think I'll just get 2 tiny stitches here. This is looking really nice. I like this color. Pushing it up. And you can weave as long as your needle is. If you have a long needle, I mean, you could get a lot done there. Now, I don't have much to push, so I have to be careful I don't smash it in there too much. And then you still want to pull it slowly. This is the place where you're going to get a knot, and this is the time where you're going to get a knot if you pull this too fast. Your thread has twist in it, and it likes to twist itself around. So if you go slowly, and yes, you can go that slowly. This is looking really nice. So that's how to do the running stitch. I actually put a different video on my YouTube channel to talk about this. I think it's called the lost knot. But that's one way that we can get the tail of thread woven in without knots. If you have knots in your stitching and embroidery, they don't look nice, and sometimes they actually end up coming out, and then your stitching all falls out. I'm going to keep working on this off camera, and I'll talk about that knot and finishing up in my next video. We'll see you later, everybody. Send me pictures of your work.